Hello and welcome to Across the Buc'n Pond, the show that reviews the last game played and previews the game upcoming. So, our Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose one in overtime to the dogshit Browns. No slate on them. I just don't like the Browns. There's nothing like their culture or anything about them. I just don't like. I don't think anyone should be named after the color brown, and I don't think anyone in the modern sport should ever wear the color brown. It just does. It doesn't read sporty to me. Like it just doesn't. I'm sorry. But yeah, we got a couple of things. It's gonna be quite a short show. And guys, remember, as always, hit that like button, strip that subscribe button, and sack the notification button. And you guys can always intercept me in the comments. So much appreciated for anyone who's watching. I am feeling a little bit ill, so I'm on medication. Got to look after yourself. Got to keep yourself healthy. A little bit of flu. Woke up feeling a little bit worn out. So it's always good. First comment in is Mr. Skullgang. Mr. Skullgang saying, "Bucks better win Monday." They should. They absolutely should win. And if they don't, and we'll talk about the implications of not winning just a second. And let's talk, but I want to talk about this Browns game. So let's talk a little bit about the Browns game. Buccaneers get pipped 23-17 in overtime. Defense was worn out, in my opinion. There were some questionable calls in regulation. Questions was, why did we call a timeout? And then we have our head coach saying, we were playing for overtime. Oh, you're playing for overtime. Why'd you call a play? Why'd your offensive coordinator pull? Why didn't you take a knee? If you're playing for overtime, you don't play. You put your knee down on the ground and you get out of dodge. Then you're playing for overtime. If you're throwing a ball or you're running a play, you're not playing for overtime. You're playing for the moment. And that's what you did. You have to be accountable for that, Todd. You cannot turn around and say, we were playing for overtime. That's bullshit. It's bullshit because if you were playing for overtime, Tom Brady would have took a knee, went back in the locker room, supped a cup of tea, and got back out there and hopefully thrown a touchdown. You made a mistake. Own it. Turn around and went, yeah, I probably should have. I need to reevaluate what I do better in those situations. Be honest. If you turn around to me and say, okay, we're going to question you because you're going to get questioned regardless. But you know what looks stupider is when a head coach turns around and says something that makes no sense. And then this makes no sense to me. I got a coach telling me he's playing for overtime, yet his offensive coordinator is still calling plays. How does that work? That tells me two things. You're incapable of relaying messages and your communication was poor, or you weren't playing for overtime and you just forgot to call a fucking timeout like we thought you did. I do apologize. A little French has come out because I'm a little bit frustrated that this Buccaneers team are making rudimental mistakes. And those are the people who are going to come out and say to me, well, Tom Brady could have called the timeout. Absolutely. Tom Brady could have called the timeout, but is it his job to call fucking timeouts? Is it Tom? I tell you what, I'm getting to the point with this Buccaneers football team. I'm not a huge defender of Tom Brady in the slightest, and he is a Hall of Fame quarterback, guaranteed. It's not even a question. He's gonna. I'm honestly one of those people who'd say the moment he retires, he should just go straight in the Hall of Fame. Let's not wait that X amount of years to put him straight in. But you got to do due process, right? Anyway, let's get to the point. Tom Brady could have called it, but why is it Tom Brady's job to audible every play like fans want him to do? Fans want him to now call all the timeouts. You know what? Let's just get rid of the entire coaching staff and have Tom Brady run the team. No, there is a coaching staff. They need to be held accountable for their screw up, and Tom Brady cannot be the person who keeps digging them out. But you know what you are going to do? You're going to run Tom Brady out of town, and Tom Brady going to go to somewhere else. He may go to San Fran. He may go somewhere else where he feels he's got a better chance of winning. That's what you're doing. Bowles, Leftwich, I implore you, don't screw this up because it's going to be on your resume. It's going to be on your resume. You cannot walk away from this. You inherited a bad team with the Jets. We get that. And we sympathize with it. And that's why a lot of people went, this cat deserves a second shot. Right now, you're showing that second shot with, and please don't come at me as, oh, well, Tom Brady's not playing that well. Tom Brady, Tom Brady playing okay is enough to get you through. If the offense played average, we'd be winning games. If the Buccaneers, I'm going to put this up there now. If the Buccaneers could fathom 22 points, their record would be very different right now. Very different right now. This Buccaneers team would probably have 7 to 8 wins. So let's not get to this point where we're turning around and saying we're going to just blame Tom Brady. Tom Brady's has had his mistakes, but he's a player. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to be in the moment, and coaches will too. But for coaches, it's always mental stuff. You can't walk away and keeping timeouts in your pocket. That makes no difference. Use them, even if it means getting a rest. Use those timeouts. That's what they're there for. They're not there. They're there to kill games. They're there to at critical junctures. My head coach to me would turn around to me and say, "Slick, do you want me to call a timeout to give you guys a breather, or we can save them for the next offensive drive?" And I would look to see how my team's playing, and I would turn around to him and go, "If we look like we're flagging or a bit worn out, I'd say call a timeout, give him a minute. I want to get this play right because it was like a critical juncture. This was a third down, for example, a third down and 5. This was a critical juncture. So I was like, give me the timeout, bring them over. We'll set the play up. We'll set the personnel up. We'll get it perfect. And then we'll send them back out." That's what those moments are there for. They're there for when you're in that position to score, to kill off a game. That's what they're there for. We didn't use them. And I would like a little bit more ownership than just saying we weren't playing for overtime, because that's a lie. If you're playing for overtime, Brady would have taken a knee. Every man, woman, child, dog, cat, hamster knows that. So let's not pretend that you've got something here. You haven't. In fact, you just make yourself look a mockery. That's head coaching jargon. And the one thing I'm starting to see from Coach Bowles as head coach, he seems to be scared. It feels like he's not playing to win the games. He's playing not to lose them. This defense is good. This defense is good. But if you let teams hang around when there's only a score in it, they will come back to bite you in the ass. They will, because we've done it to teams. We did it to the Jets. And yes, I know the Jets aren't great back last year. We did it to the Colts. We did it to the Bills. Right? Don't let a team hang around. You need to have a killer instinct, and that's the one thing that this team is missing. Bollocks. We need some balls on this team. We need some men to stir up. As I've heard Levante say this, and this is apparently a Miami saying, so people correct me if I'm wrong. People need to drop them nuts and get up there and can win a football game. You're going to win a football game by outscoring your opponent, not protecting a tiny little lead. It's not going to happen. And your prevent defense is beatable. When you go conservative, that's when, and I'm not, when people say I say he's not being aggressive, what I mean to say is his play calling, he has play calls that are very aggressive, but in certain situations, he takes his foot off. It feels, I don't know, because I'm not in that coaching staff. It feels like he's playing not to lose. And he plays this, people call it cushion coverage. He just plays his guys way, 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 way off. And it's much harder for a DB. Being a DB myself, being a DB myself, now nowhere near that level. It's very hard to read, react when you're not in motion. If you're stood there and reading something, if your first instinct's not right, you're done. Let me put it this way. This is you. This is your wide receiver. You stay still. He does this. Sammy sidelines over here, yeah? And he does this, and you bail out the coverage. Guess what? He's completing the pass, and he's going to get some real estate, which means you can run a play as a wide receiver against this Bucs defense. If they're camped out on the 10 or on the 8, you can run to 5 and then break hard in a different direction. If you run hard enough and you can turn on a dime, you will make this defense bail into coverage. And what does that do? It creates separation. That's why, me personally, I like my DBs at 6. Get me at 6. I like 5. 5 is my point. And every DB, right? Every DB has their it's like this imaginary cushion. And it's the distance between them and the receiver that they feel comfortable giving up. And the better the receiver, the less cushion there is, the closer they can play. And what that means is it doesn't matter what they do, they can stay with them. Now, sometimes they'll get beat because it's natural, but that will happen. But in this case, they don't have their natural cushion is when they're stationary. So when they're not even in movement, their first steps are going to be are predetermined to what they're going to do based on what they see. So they see a hard release. They think it's deep. So what are you going to do? You're going to get out of your back pedal and you jump on your horse. You're going to jump on your horse. And what does he need to do? As soon as he sees you bail, he can turn 90-degree angle, 180, not 180, sorry, a 90-degree angle, a 45-degree angle, catch that ball, run it into the sideline. Job done. It's easy to defend. I don't think you need to do it, and I understand you're changing up the coverage, but when we play prevent defense, we are very beatable by anybody. And I know you got to play prevent sometimes, but just not all the time. So, what did we get out of this? Well, the run started off well and died. It never got going after a while, and we were pretty much done. I felt this Buccaneers team fizzle out at halftime when they couldn't get the points that they needed to get. But then that was kind of almost all forgiven when we got the touchdown, when we got the ball back. And I thought, okay, now the Buccaneers are going to take it to them. But they didn't. And that defense just had to keep working and working and working. I'm going to tell you something right now. If that defense is working and working and working and working and we're getting 3 and outs, that defense is going to get weaker. Someone's defense will crack. That's the point. It's the chess game you're playing. Keep it simple. We're very much, from an offensive standpoint, we tend to use the length of the field because realistically, the length of the field is limitless, right? It's like if you're on your 25, it's all the way to their 0, yeah, their end zone. Plenty of space. But you've got to create that space by moving pieces around. But you can do that by using the width. The width of the field stays the same all the time. And here's a theory, and it's just a theory. So if anyone wants to agree with me or disagree with me, by all means, please do. When you don't use the width of the field and you're only using the field vertically, it is very difficult to gain separation when you are closer to the goal line. Why? Because eventually that space runs out. So you're first down on your 20, camped out on your 25. You've got from your 25 all the way to the end zone. That's 75 yards. But when you're in the end zone or you're in the red zone, you only have 25 yards plus the in goal zone, the in goal zone, the touchdown zone, the in goal area, right? Which is probably equating to about roughly maybe 30 yards. You don't have the vertical space that you used to have. And that's why you need to use the width of the field. And I think that's why the Buccaneers, personally, I don't know if I'm right, I think that's why the Buccaneers have struggled in the red zone, because they don't use the width of the field enough. Everything is just straight down the field, which is great to get into position. So you can't always use those plays that got you down the field to score, because it's easier to defend because there's less space. So if you're a vertical team, from a defensive standpoint, it's going to be easier as they get down the field, because guess what? They have no space. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Guys, we have the boogie team in. The team that's pipped us time and time and time and time again. But no more, because we beat them the last time we played them. Jameis Winston played exactly how he used to play for the Bucs. So this reminiscence of renaissance that Jameis Winston got fixed under Sean Payton dissolved after that game. Any faith that the Saints organization had in him died after that game. The Buccaneers killed Jameis Winston. We saw comments by Devin White where he called him out and said, "We know that he's going to give us the ball. We know. And we saw Chris Godwin leap into his ex-quarterback's defense. And, that just goes to show the camaraderie and friendship that they still have. But Devin White was right. He knows. He's been in those situations. He's seen it from the sideline going, great, we got to go back out there again. Great, this is another short field we got to defend. And that's the animosity that builds up when a team is turnover prone, which is probably why the defense isn't as stressed even with the current offense. Because yes, they're giving up the thing, but they're not giving up real estate. They're giving up time. Unfortunately, that wears you out over the course of a game. So they do that early on, it's not a problem because eventually you'll get your wings out. And if the coaching staff is smart enough, they can rep people in to give everyone a breather so that it keeps everyone kind of fresh. You can't do it all the time because eventually you put too many of your second string in, the offense that you're going up against will mince them apart. So it's a cardinal sin to just not advance the ball down the field. And I understand that you can do that with the pass. Now we are abandoned. You can do that with the run. Now I could see that when the run game doesn't work, we completely abandon. We do run on first down and get what we get out of it, and then we go to the pass. The passing to me feels stagnant. I feel that Tom Brady only throws to Mike Evans if he feels he can draw a flag from it. A lot of the balls that he throws to Mike Evans are uncatchable or extremely difficult catches. And Mike Evans has never been known to have the most surest of hands when I've ever seen him play for the Buccaneers. He is prone to drops in comparison to other wide receivers. Not a bad wide receiver or a bad receiver of the ball, otherwise he wouldn't be playing wide receiver. But he has had problems in the past. I've seen him in the past struggle catching balls. And it's usually because of the high risk type of throws that get given to Mike Evans. It's usually him leaping into the air and plucking it. That's not easy to do. That's why Mike Evans is one of the best at what he does. Unfortunately, it means that he gets a lot of incomplete passes his way. Mike Evans is so big and physically bodied that people have to lay hands on him, and that allows him to draw flags. But it feels like Tom Brady only throws to Mike when it feels like there's a 50-50 flag there and throws a ball that if Mike Evans is very, very lucky, he catches it. And if he doesn't, it draws a flag. I've never seen Tom Brady blow up at Mike Evans. There's a reason for that. And I don't think I'm right. I just a hunch, a feeling that I have. I'm just going to quickly go through the comments before we go through the next stuff, and we'll get going. This is probably going to be a short episode. I have 0 guests, so we'll crack on and just keep it going. So we'll start off with very busy from a school gang. Most win game. Yeah, it's a must win. It's absolutely a must win game. This sets us apart in our division. If we want to win the division and make the playoffs and scrape through and maybe do something in the playoffs, you have to win your division, and you have to win your divisional opponent, beat your divisional opponents to do so. Also, there's a lot of freaking pride that needs to be earned. This is a bragging rights. In England, we use the term derby. You use rivalry. I prefer the word rivalry. It just sounds better. This is bragging rights game. This is, I'm going to screw you because we dislike you. You don't like us, whatever. That's it. School gang wants to see a coaching change. I don't think we'll see it. The Buccaneers, unfortunately, invested way too much in Coach Bowles. Personally, I would like to have seen the season play out and then extend him. I don't like the fact that we did it straight away. I think it was a bit of a dumb move. Maybe giving him a 3-year contract instead of a 5. You've got to give him a contract. People don't need to understand this. He needed to have a contract because he's been stepped up to a head coach. You could have given him an interim position. They really could have. Your interim coach, based on how you do this year, they could have done that. And I'm absolutely sure that Coach Bowles would probably have accepted it, because what other choice does he have at that point in time? Let's keep going. Yep, there was some bad coaching. This is pure unadulterated Bowles, and this is what he has been doing, and it makes you really believe. Well, it makes us believe as Buccaneers fans that As much as Brady didn't like having Bruce Arians around, the offense was way more efficient. And yes, the Buccaneers team has changed a little bit. We do have a different center, and the two guards are different, and they're not playing at the same level as Kappa, Jensen, and Marpet. But that does not mean we can't do anything. I saw a team with an abysmal offensive line go to a freaking Super Bowl and was one play away from winning that. So don't come at me saying there's no such thing as deep shots. Because how did Jamar Chase get his yards? You think they dinked and donked it to Jamar Chase? Get real. Teresa Baxter, who will be joining me later. I believe it's Teresa. I'm not 100% sure. She'll be joining me later in our show, Buck Wild, and we'll be talking all things Buccaneers. Kind of the same kind of vibe as this, but it's a bit more general discussion. Other people are more encouraged to come in and join in the chat. I'm sure School Gang will like to join in because he likes to have a good chat. Playing for overtime, utter BS. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. They could have won with 3 times. They have 3 timeouts. They could have won. Absolutely. You don't know what's going to happen until you play. You play to win until you can't win. This whole I'm playing for overtime thing, I don't know what mind. That's a defeatist mindset. You had 30 seconds on the clock. Hang on a minute, and I'm just going to reel back it a little bit. Didn't we beat the Rams with basically nothing left on the clock and not many timeouts or no timeouts? So that was a winnable game because you had to go for it because there was no overtime available. I get that. However, you're in the same position with timeouts and you have Tom Brady and you're saying, no, we're just going to call it quits. No. So it smells stupid. It looks stupid. And I'm not even window shopping for this trash right now. And there's a half price sale on Weird. I'm not buying it. He's not selling. Coach Bowles, I'm not buying it from Coach Bowles. He's not selling it to me, and I'm not even window shopping, and it's a half price sale and fucking Weird. Blamed Tom Brady, don't trust him. I don't know. I don't know if they don't trust Tom Brady. Tom Brady's one of the greatest in the. Yeah, he has digressed a little bit. He's still the best option for the Buccaneers at quarterback. That's a country mile. It's not even close. His yards are still there. I just wish we were more clinical in the red zone because we can get to the position of scoring. We just can't seem to finish off drives, and that's the frustrating thing. So dumb as shit. Yep. Hate's a strong word. Look up the word hate. I don't hate Todd Bowles. I'm disappointed that he's like this. Like Coach Bowles is an aggressive play caller. He's actually a surprisingly aggressive person. This guy played safety in the National Football League. He ain't no wuss. But he's playing scared. He's coaching scared, or he's play calling scared. When they run that team on game day, they play scared. The Buccaneers, and that translates into the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, I don't think defense is playing scared, but it almost feels like there's not as much faith. They don't have as much faith in their team, so they have to be like really strategic and play not to lose because they don't feel that they can score. And that's possible because got to take this into account, guys. If Coach Bowles is playing not to lose, is that because the offense can't put points on? And that's making his play calling become a bit more conservative? Because he's, I've got to be careful now because we could lose this game because we're going to have to back it up for the offense. Fire Coach Bowles. We're not going to lose Coach Bowles. I'm telling you right now. Unless there's a clause in his contract, Coach Bowles will be here for at least 2 more years. I'm guaranteeing it. The Buccaneers do not have the money to hire somebody unless they can hire, I would say, an offensive coordinator or somebody who isn't earning a lot of money. Because offensive coordinators, they probably earn about $2 million. So you could probably get rid of Coach Bowles and sign someone to a long-term contract. But then, if they're a good offensive coordinator or a very good defensive coordinator, the thing is, you're competing against the rest of the league for his job. So he's got to want to come here, and that's the difference. Depressed Bucks team, we have first round exit. Not necessarily. I'm always going to be hopeful. We're in it until we're not. That's the way I've always been, and that's my mindset. We want Todd Bowles gone. We want Byron Leftwich gone. Um, Byron Leftwich is frustrating me. Coach Bowles, I believe he's a good coach. I really do. I think he's overthinking everything, and I think he needs to take a step back, and I think he needs to think less and do more. That's just my opinion. Todd Bowles on the hot seat? Not yet. I don't. He should be, but because of the contract he just signed, probably not. Um, I mean, I was going to get into that after we talked about the Browns, but my prediction: Buccaneers win 23, 23-21. Sorry, 23-20. Buccaneers win 23-20. That's my. In fact, I might even go 26, but I believe we're going to score 2 touchdowns and we'll get a couple of field goals. So 26. No, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I really got me deep in thought about this now. 27. I think it's going to be 2017. 2017. We'll have a touchdown on them. We'll kill the drive and it's done. Yeah, only by 3. I think it's probably going to be. It's me. If we lose Monday night, coaching change happen. I don't think it will. The Buccaneers seem very invested in its coaching staff, and the problem you've got, guys, is the general manager believes in this coaching unit, and the senior advisor to the GM in Bruce Arians is vouched for every single one of these guys. So Bruce Arians is never going to ask for any of these guys to get cut. That's a fact. He's never going to call it. Is that the score, or is it what you think the Buccaneers are going to go? But it's possible, yes. Um, it's not gonna it's if everyone. I mean, I'd love to see this Buccaneers offense fly off the handles and just absolutely dominate, but I just don't see how. So yeah, the Buccaneers drop a brown one. We drop the shit. Not good. Let's look at the inactives and injuries list and see what we got. So the only person we have out is Tristan Wirfs, which is a big thing. Expect Davenport, expect that Cam Jordan, Tevin Armstead, if he's still with them. Uh, yeah, expect these guys to really go to town on Tom to try and get to Tom Brady. This is going to be a real big battle for the offensive line. Um, Realistically, right now from the Super Bowl season, there's only one guy in that unit, and it's Donovan Smith. And we don't have a lot of faith in Donovan Smith right now because of what happened in the last game. Um, but we do have Antoine Winfield is doubtful. Sean Murphy-Bunting is doubtful. Mike Edwards is doubtful. So both starting safeties are doubtful, and that's not a good thing. Doubtful means probably won't play. Questionable, we have Gage, Luke Geteke, Akeem Hicks, Vita Vea, Lenny Fournette, Cameron Brate. They have, and I mean, I don't follow the Saints, so I don't really know if these are like major plays for them. But I don't know any of these names off the top of my head. PJ Williams, I'm not 100% if I know who he is. Name rings a bell, but I'm not 100% sure he's out. I think that might be out of this out group. I think he might be the better player. They got 2 safeties out, but I don't think that's their start. I know that's not their start. One of them's definitely not their starting safety because they're Tyrann Mathieu. Never Juwan Johnson, Peyton Turner, PJ Williams, and that's their outs. Their questionables are Marshall Lattimore, Malcolm Roach. Okay. I think Marshall Lattimore will play. If I'm Mike Evans, I am running through him every single play. Any deep route I've got where I've got to run straight downfield, I am busting my ass around him, and I'm going to bust through his abdomen and make him feel a little bit of pain. Bradley Roby's concussion. I don't understand when people are questionable for concussion. You're either in or you're out. I don't understand how you can be questionable for a concussion. Maybe they're hoping, maybe he still has concussion symptoms and they don't know yet. But the rule I've always heard is you've got to be concussion symptom free for X amount of days before you can enter a game. I think it's about 7 days. You got to be concussion symptom free. So as far as I'm concerned, you're either in or you're out. There's no question about it. But that's just what I know from my league in this country. Yeah, they got a load of questionable guys, but you know we just got to take it to them. And then let's talk about this. This team makes me drink. Oh yes, this team makes me drink too. I mean, I like drinking, so that's always a good thing. But sometimes I don't want to be as frustrated when I'm drinking. You know what I'm saying? So let's have a little look. Memes of the week. Let's get memey. The meme news. Okay. Let's get this out there. Garbage. It's all good. It's all going wrong for the Broncos. Everyone was like, "Oh, all they need is a franchise quarterback." They get one. Not a franchise quarterback no more. That is harsh. Very harsh. Very, very harsh. Hey, we know all about coaches keeping timeouts in their back pocket. Yeah, only God can judge you. Well, he judging. I'm not religious, by the way. Other religions are available. Derek Carr is more looking like Mar from the Wet Bandits with every loss. That's uncanny, man. Oh God! Imagine rubbing your unwrapping your Christmas presents, your Christmas presents this year, and finding this doozy. Yeah, I'll be one to lose. I'll stay with the family. Russell Wilson was QB in week 33 in week 12. There are 32 teams in the NFL. I'm going to bring on our guest. I'm going to bring in Alex Schomburg. Welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? How you like it?
I'm going to make this a trio. What jersey you got on this? Sammy and Rice? Nice. Rice is white. Rice is right. Let's bring on our next guest. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Rick Hughes, the time bomb. Oh, he looks like a bomb right now. How you doing, brother?
I am the bomb.
He is the bomb.
What's up, Rick?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing
we're going for a few of the memes of the week and what's been going around. But what I really want to get from you is how you felt about this Browns team. So I've seen how frustrated you've been this year so far. So I'm expecting a nice little rant from a Rick Hughes right now.
Well, here. Yes, and look, this team is what it is. Everybody just embrace it.
I'm not embracing
embrace the suck. We are what we are. We're probably going to win the division anyway.
Hey, Rick.
And look, here's the bottom line. Tom Brady's not playing like he did. He is playing scared. You snap the ball, you get rid of it that quickly. Many times uncatchable passes for one reason and one reason alone. You're scared. He wants to try to get to the postseason, and then he'll hold on to the ball a little longer. Then he'll try to make things happen. That's how he's always done it. But apparently, he has zero faith in the line. Todd Bowles, my thought on Bowles and the timeout thing, and everybody's response to it. Their response, their reaction, their denial, their cover up, their whatever is worse than the actual mistake that they made on the field. Okay,
own it. Just own it and say, I screwed up.
Yes, you're
I will get
showing
better.
how stupid you are when you try to, I mean, it's
Tried
just
to
amazing.
explain it, didn't he? It's like, oh, we're going to hang on to those timeouts because we could need them, or we're playing for overtime. Don't call a play then.
Yeah, it's just, we've got the best timeouts. We just don't, I mean, that's what it makes me think of. It's like, oh, come on, we're going to keep them. I mean, what? Stop it. Okay. You just won a game with 30 seconds left and you move down the field.
Exactly.
You just
How many timeouts
won
did we have in that
a
one?
game. The thing that bothered me more than anything was when Todd Bowles said, well, we really didn't think we had anything there that we liked.
Huh?
Yeah, when they were like, well, why you're afraid he was going to throw an interception, but then you threw the ball in the next play. Well, we had a play that we liked. Well, you didn't have you're saying you didn't have any plays that you liked? On first down, you're telling me you were stumped? On first and 10, you were stumped? I mean, God, it's like, I'm sorry. Look, I was rooting for Todd Bowles. I had the opportunity to meet him in the offseason. He was very, very nice. His family is very, very nice. I was really rooting for him, and everybody ripping on the coaching staff and everything all through the beginning of the year. I tried to say, just wait.
Be patient. Be patient.
Just wait. Well, we waited. Okay. We waited. It's past waiting time now. Look, if this team doesn't go on some sort of a tear, look, we are what we are. Okay. We're an average to below average team, possibly. And embrace that. Now, I want to see one thing drafted next year. If you don't draft a quarterback, okay, if you don't, then I want one thing and one thing only, and that's people on both sides of the line of scrimmage, nothing else. I don't want any other position. Nobody. Just linemen.
And this we talk about the indecision this coaching staff has made. Remember when we heard about the win against the Rams and we had the K. Dotton touchdown? We actually heard that Byron Leftwich had a run play dialed up with 8 seconds to go. If you throw the ball, you might have 2 shots. If Tom Brady throws as quick as he normally does, might have 3.
Well, with 8 seconds, you got 2 at best.
Yeah. I'm spitballing. It depends how quick. It's all processing, right?
I mean, they pretty much.
But realistically, yes, you're right.
The saying is, when you run a play, you count on it taking 6 seconds. Okay, that's Okay, fair. That's the rule of thumb. Now, having said that, yeah, whatever, weirder things have happened, but I don't understand. We went from no risk it, no biscuit to no risk it. I mean, like, don't risk it. No. Oh, no. I mean, we went the complete opposite direction. And I get it that Bruce Arians wanted to set his guys up, but it was more like a setup. I mean, it was more like, wow, I don't want to get caught with this team. I mean, it's just, look, Bruce Arians did the same thing. I did not like this about Arians. Arians would never admit a mistake. All right. He would not do it. Todd Bowles is cut from the same cloth. They're not going to admit a mistake. Now, Arians will cut straight into Brady, and Brady can handle it. As we've seen, Brady knows how to deal with it. He doesn't really care. And Bruce Arians comes out now and he says he says, well, problem is Brady hasn't been playing well. Okay, I agree. One thing I am sick and tired of hearing, and if Buccaneers fans, if any Buccaneer fan could hear this, anybody who hears this, please embrace what I'm about to say. Stop effing talking about his divorce. Lots of players get divorced and you still have to function. Lots of people who go to work every day in their jobs still have to function even though they're getting divorced. I'm sorry this happened. It's rough. You don't throw away an entire freaking season. Okay? Stop it. That's not the problem here. The problem is the offensive line. Okay? That's the problem. He's playing scared because of the offensive line. He's getting rid of the ball because of the offensive line. He's throwing at the feet of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And if at best throwing at their feet because he's scared and he's getting rid of the ball before the route can develop. All right.
agree.
Everything comes down to we don't have a good enough O-line to go deep into the playoffs and be overly successful. Wrap your minds around it, accept it. If you're a Bucs fan, be a Bucs fan anyway. Okay.
I disagree with just the offensive line thing, mainly because you can account for that in different ways by different plays. Shorten your routes. You don't have to play. We play vertical down the field, and that's half the problem. Because once you run out of space, guess what?
But we're not now. We're not playing vertical down the field
because the ball's coming out too quick. But the scheme is vertical.
Yeah, that may be the case. That may be the case. Yes, but there's one major thing that there's one game that we've really thrown the ball more than 10 yards down the field, and that was the Seattle game. And whoa, look at what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everybody talks about the run game sets up the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. If you will not throw the ball 10 yards down the field, all your defensive backs come up and crowd the line. Everybody comes up and gets ready for the quick pass. And you can't run the ball because everybody's in the box. You can't throw the ball within 5-10 yards because everybody's in the box. And that's all we do.
Yep. The only person who's had success in this offense right now in the last 2 weeks is probably Chris Godwin. And that's because he runs shorter routes in general. He's that slot guy. He's a slotty guy. And it works.
Right.
The deep stuff is dead because, like you said, I completely agree with you. He is 100% panicking. Sometimes he doesn't need to because it's not always that the pass rush is in his face. I mean, for quarterback hits and sacks, he's up there.
I agree with you completely, and thank God you're saying that, okay? Because it's a fact. The line has actually held up in some games better than Brady is giving them, I'll say, credit.
Or showing them credit.
For. Right. He gets rid of the ball that quick. And I do think it's because he's 45. This is where the 45-year-old thing comes in. In his head, he's 45. He knows he gets hit, recovery time takes longer. He knows that if he gets hit, it could be his last play. He knows all of this, so he plays scared. And we cannot play scared and win.
No. It's the same as this coaching staff is also emulating this whole kind of, it feels to me that we're playing not to lose the game rather than playing to win it.
You were dead on when you said it. And last year, Arians had the let's go get them. Let's
punch them again. Let's break their teeth. Let's not. Oh, we blacked out an eye. Let's knock a tooth out.
Right, and we've just lost that entire mentality. And Todd Bowles loves defense, so in his brain, a great way to play is
safe.
Let's rely on the defense, but we need to rely on the offense too. We've got the best quarterback in history.
And I completely agree with you on that one because I always hear, and I'm not always like siding with journalists on this, but on the herd, Colin Cowherd always states that he feels that offensive-minded head coaches thrive more because their ability to take more shots. Defensive coaches tend to go, okay, we can rely on my defense to win the game, and they're not relying on the main thing. How do you win a football game? By outscoring the other team.
I do think you can win with a defensive-minded head coach. Look at Tennessee. I do think you can win with a defensive-minded head coach. But the thing is, this team was built with Arians in mind, and it's an offensive type of team. And now let's play defensive football. Well, by the way, we got rid of Sue and JPP during the year where we've decided to rely on the defense.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. I'm talking too much.
It's right.
But
I'm gonna let Alec get in on this because he's
yeah,
been very quiet, and I know he's wanted to say something.
yeah,
So
he's been playing. I'm sorry, Alec. I came in here and thought went off, but I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. And what I'm
I
pissed
mean,
about more than anything, two
I mean,
things, and I will hang up. I'm pissed that the it seems like the Buccaneers just have no balls when it comes to playing this game. Okay, play with a little bit of guts, please. Thank you. Go beat somebody. And then the second thing, and I will get up. I will get out of here. I will hang up and get out of your way. But the second thing is, I'm sick. I mean, we've got to all just embrace, guys. We're 5-6. This is us.
oh,
hey,
Embrace it.
to add to that, Rick, I was like, are you not surprised? I mean, some of these fans only been fans for like 2 years. They haven't been there when we was barely reaching 4 wins, 5 wins for a
I
whole
mean,
season.
yeah, this is still technically better than the Jameis Winston years.
No, there's well, it's about the same, I think.
I'm pretty sure that we're chasing the losses more than we've got the wins. Right now, we're still in a position. I mean, to be fair, let's face it, the division was usually in a better shape than it is right now. But
Right.
we've never really been in it all the way. So, and we have this year. So we're still.
No,
I'd
but
still
we're
say
5-6.
marginally.
We're
Yeah,
5-6. Okay,
we're
we're
five and
below
six.
average.
But the
We're
Buccaneers
below
will
average.
probably would only have 3 wins with Jameis Winston at this point.
Well, maybe, yeah, maybe. But the
We'll
beautiful
see.
thing of all of it, and I wish nothing but success for Jameis
Of
outside of
course,
our division. Go somewhere else, please. Go somewhere out west. I don't care. Go to the Cardinals and do well. I'd be happy for you. But having said that, get out of our division. And there's something so beautiful over the fact that it was us who basically ended Jameis in New Orleans.
I mean, there was so much talk about him, under the tutelage of Sean Payton, that he's
Yeah.
become this better game managing, smarter. What was he said? He had his PhD in football when he went to the Saints. It was kind of a bit of ridicule on the Bucks because kind of like a bit of shade. But hey, it
Yeah.
is what it is. It's irrelevant at this point because it doesn't matter. He's going to say what he wants to say, and then the Buccaneers end him the way that he played for the Bucks. Coughing all those balls up and things like that. He just played James Winston football. And
One of my favorite games I've ever watched as a Bucks fan. It really is one of my favorite games. It was beautiful to me. It was glorious just to see when the first pick six happened, or when the pick six. I was beyond excited. Listen, let me get out of your way. I'm sorry for yapping. You guys
no
have a
worries,
great
brother.
night. I'll keep
Anytime.
listening to the show, but I'm going to get out of here.
No worries, man. Anytime. It's always a pleasure. Where can we catch you? Are you still doing media stuff, or are you just jumping on shows on occasion?
No, I just come to. You're the only show I come on. It seems like so.
You flatter me, sir.
All right, man. You
Rick,
guys
always a
take
pleasure.
care.
Never a chore. Look after yourself, brother, and go Bucks.
Go Bucks, guys. See ya.
See you, man.
See you, Rick.
Alex, so talk to me. What do the Buccaneers need to do to get back on track in this Saints game?
Execute.
Mm-hmm.
Like that game against the Browns, it could have been one. It was literally a first down away from winning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like execute, stick to the game plan. We was running, we was good with the run.
I think they just adjusted to the run, and we didn't adjust what we were doing to make that run to make the run more effective. We just kind of we hit that brick wall, and we stopped, and then we just started ball spraying. It felt like to me, but you're right.
Yeah, it's more like stick to the right. I mean, stick with what sticks. Like you can't just go away from the game plan because dude, you gotta go with what works in the end. And it feels like when we was going through like the passing game, it looked like it was more lopsided
Mm-hmm.
on what was actually succeeding for them. And they said you could see. I mean, yeah, you can look at the offensive line, reason why he was forcing the throws to Mike Evans, but you gotta like spread the wealth with everybody else. It can't just be Mike Evans, Mike Evans, Mike Evans,
Sure.
Mike Evans.
How many times did you hear? I don't know. let's go with a certain guy who got us into scoring position, didn't score but got us into scoring position, and had been a bit of a quiet guy in Scotty Miller. He'd been having some good games for this Buccaneers offense, and I barely saw him on the field. I saw him on special teams as a gunner, but I didn't really see him do anything else. And you're absolutely right. And I know about this, and I'll give you my opinion, and you can tell me if you feel I'm on it or I'm off. I feel sometimes Tom Brady only throws to Mike if there's a potential flag, because that DB covered him very, very well. And a lot of the balls that Tom Brady threw to him, he was really well covered, and he was probably not going to catch it. It was going to take absolute stellar catching, like shocking, like play of the week type of catches. And they just didn't come off because Mike Evans isn't known for being a big time catcher. He's known for he can snag a ball or two and pluck it out of the air, but he's not known for those highlight reel catches that are like really low down where you have to stretch out from it. I mean, if it's vertical, he's got to go up, he'll snag it and pull it down. But you ask him to go left and right and stretch his arms out, that's when he would probably struggle a little bit. But I personally feel that if Tom Brady sees someone all over Mike, he throws to him to hope for the draw of the flag rather than actually trying to complete a meaningful pass. And he's like, I'll throw this ball. If Mike Evans doesn't catch it, then it'll probably be a flag.
I mean, the more you say that, I mean, I've noticed every time they pass to him, flag is called. So
Mike Evans gets a lot of flags, and that's because of just how physical he plays the wide receiver position. And I've always said to this, Mike Evans may not have the route running savvy of a top 5 wide receiver, but what Mike Evans does better than anybody is outmuscle every one of his competitors. He runs through people, and it is a joy to watch. He's deceptively fast. He has good hands. He's got great range and wingspan. The problem is, I just think when they feel like a wide receiver is breathing on him or a bit too close to him, they'll throw the ball, and if they don't get it, well, then it's just a loss of a down. They live another down. If he does snag it, brilliant. And if he doesn't, and it becomes defensive pass interference, then they get the flag anyway. I would love to know what Mike Evans' actual stats would have been had he not had defensive holding or the PI calls on him, because I bet you he probably would be in that 2,000 yard mark with a lot more touchdowns on his name. But that's just me. That's just my personal gut feeling. It just feels like sometimes they only throw to Mike when they want to try and get a flag out of it. And good DBs don't give up flags all the time. You're not going to get a flag every play. So yeah, for me, it wasn't. I just don't see it. But I want to see more dynamic. I want this offense to be more dynamic. I want us to use more people. It was great to see Julio Jones used a little bit more. We're seeing more and more of him. And I ask you, what part of the offense do we need to get right?
I mean, you can't knock the running game because it was working. Rachaad White had 100 yards rushing yesterday. Oh, not yesterday. Last Sunday. It's more so the passing game. The running backs, Rachaad White stepped up well enough while Leonard Fournette's absence. So I have to go to the passing.
White got 64 yards with 14 attempts. So all right, but he got by the end of the half, he got snuffed out. He couldn't run the ball as effectively. You watch the runs later in the game; they could not establish the run anymore. The run was starting to die and fizzle out, and then they went into give the ball to Tom Brady and let him throw it. And when someone's not throwing well, I think what I would have liked to have seen is if the run isn't working, work him into the passing game. Have him release out here and there and get those small yards. Tom Brady likes to dink it and dunk it, and I think sometimes that's all this team wants to do is dink it and dunk it. We just don't seem to have this mentality of no risk it, no biscuit. I guess we just don't seem to want to go and kill a team off. And some of those throws. Let's talk about the end of the half when they throw 3 balls Mike Evans' way. Most of those balls looked completely either barely catchable, let alone uncatchable. But yet they kept going to the Mike Evans well. And I think that's what got my brain going. Are they just throwing him to get a flag? And it's probably because the commentators going, they're looking for a flag. Because you see Mike Evans pop up, kind of like shrugging his shoulders as if to say, "Why are you not throwing the flag?" Or you see Tom Brady kind of pleading for the flag, and you're like, "No, well, there's no flag there." The thing is, you've got to learn to read your. I always find you've got to learn to read your refs. There are two types of referees. There's referees that want to have their name day. They want to go out there and they want to throw their flags because they get to say pass interference, holding, defensive holding, this, because their name gets to be put on the fucking billboard or on tape. And then you have those coaches who are then you have those guys who are very much of the let them play. And this crew seemed very much of let them play. And that when you have a refereeing team that's like that, you can't try and draw flags because you're probably not going to get them if that's their mindset. And I think that's something that you've got to be a bit mindful. I just don't like the idea of playing for a penalty. It just seems stupid, but that's just me. I'm just frustrated that we're not able to utilize the talent that we have. I mean, it's almost laughable right now that we are one of the most talented bad teams. Just thank God the Rams suck more than we do.
That's always a positive.
It's always a positive, but it's not good enough, is it really?
I mean, the way I see this season, I don't expect Super Bowls every year. No one's gonna win them every year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we won it 2 years ago, so I'm content with it. I'm not content with the season. I actually want to see like more like want to win instead of like that sluggish like
we do look very lethargic. Yeah,
like we didn't get the first down. Oh, we'll get it next time, and then they score. The other team scores, and then you're just like, oh, now we really got now we got to really score. And it's like you got like they downplay their opponents every single time. If you would have told me, like, oh no, like 3 weeks ago that, or maybe before the season, that Panthers would win by like 25 points against us, I would say you're a liar. But then you see it happen, and it's just like all it took was a first play of Mike Evans dropping the ball, and it's just like after that the whole offense went flat.
Yeah, and I don't understand why.
That one play caused your whole game. Like walk it. I mean, I can't really cuss on here, but
you
walk
can.
it off.
I've sworn a lot already.
Oh well, like, walk it the fuck off. Go off the field, and then do better next time instead of just like, oh yeah, I dropped a pass. This game's already over with. It's just like childish, like I wouldn't even say childish because like I said all the time, I don't know what goes behind those doors.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on personally? I just watch what I see, and it just seems like the lack of like energy is just not there. The energy we had 2 years ago when we won 6 games in a row to go to the playoffs, or 5 games in a row. Even last year, it may have been like, we may have lost in a divisional round, but even during the season, is it really Jensen that they're not? It's like, does Jensen really have to gotta be there just for them to get like run the offense? Like, is it that's kind of, if that's the reason, that's kind of sad. In my opinion, you need one player. I mean, mind you, he's a great player, very impactful player, but you don't like you see guys go down. Don't be like, oh, darn, we lost a guy. Our season's over with. Next man up. You sign a contract, right?
Didn't we all talk when Ryan Jensen went down, and we know that JC Tretter eventually retired, but we don't know what was happening behind closed doors and all these things. We don't know what could have happened or the what ifs, right? Because it'll always be a what if. But the Buccaneers did, as a team, as a organization, decided that Ryan Jensen was gone, and we are going to go with the next man up rather than look outside the league for the next man up. And I would honestly say that Tom Brady has probably a bit of a say in that. We've seen him bring players in. We've seen people like Antonio Brown come in, and he pleaded for him. Leonard Fournette was one of those people that Tom Brady, kind of went to bat for. Gronk, I'm guaranteeing that Tom Brady was kind of pulling for him and getting him in. it was obvious, and it just feels like that Tom Brady could have had that sway. I just wonder if Tom Brady was interested in another center, or he was like, you know what, the guys that we got now, we can win with. And then we see our guard go, we lose a guard, and we go with Luke Getke, and we didn't know what we were going to get with him until we got him. And to be honest, like I'm not going to kick Luke Getke's ass, because at the end of the day, he's a rookie. He's a second round pick. He's I believe, I don't know if we traded up in the draft to get him or what have you. I'm going back to the draft, I can barely remember it, to be honest. But he's a second round pick, and the Buccaneers had a particularly a particularly low pick in that draft. So he's more closer to a third round pick than he was a high end second. So for him to step up the way he did, what division did he play in when he played in college? He played in the MAC. Now that's no slate on the MAC, but you're going up against grown ass men who have plied their trade in the NFL, like a Vita Vea, like some of the guys that he's gone up against at the Steelers and other teams that have very good interior defensive lines. He's going to struggle with those people. That's a fact. So I'm not hating on him. It's going to take him a minute. And I've said this to Buccaneers fans, not every pick that we make on offensive line is going to end up like the man, the myth, the legend, Ali Marpet. Yes, he was freaking special. There was nothing like that. Guy was just insanely good. The guy played center for a year and still didn't look bad. Like, he wasn't a great center, but he was serviceable as a decent comparable center. Obviously, he was way better as a guard. And then you look at Alex Kappa. Alex Kappa took 4 years before he really hit his potential. It was year 3 that he really, really got going. So I'm not hitting on Luke Getke at all. But the Buccaneers also had a chance. There were people available that were starters last year on teams that weren't signed. Now, the argument always is, well, they're not signed, so there's a reason for that. Possibly. But don't you explore that avenue? I don't know. But the Buccaneers have been content with going what they got. They have not made any shake-up moves. They've made no trades. They have done absolutely nothing. They are content with that. That means they believe in the units that they have. That's a good thing and a bad thing. It means you're either very deceptive of what you have. You don't actually know what you got. It also could mean that you have no clue what you're doing. And we know this team knows how to we know this coaching unit knows how to assemble a team. So we know that they were comfortable going with what they got, but what they got didn't produce so far. I'm just going to go through the comments for a moment, because I do believe we got quite a few, and a few of them are directed at you. So I think you know who that's going to be.
Oh,
the roll of the eyes. Oh dear, I like the beard you're growing there, Alec. Though you got this beard going on.
I only have it for a little bit longer. Until I catch up to my ass.
All right. So as soon as you go back, you're back on. As soon as you're back in, you've got to take it off.
No, I've been back at work since Monday.
Okay.
I've been hiding this.
What, behind a bandana?
No, because I work at the hospital, so it's like we gotta wear a face mask to cover.
Okay. I got you. So we got Teresa. She said he's scared he's going to get pancaked. Yeah, he probably is. The Tom Brady's a little bit worried, for sure. And of course, your favorite. Hello, boys. Slicky on my bedroom sailor. Oh, good Lord. Who's that time boy? Okay, he kind of sounds like me after. Oh, for goodness. Never fails to disappoint. Alex is wearing my favorite outfit, football jersey, and nothing else. It's voicing the pajama. Oh, my Lord. Oh, gotta love it. You say coffin balls. By the way, I told a friend of mine to tune into these shows. House work. Much appreciated, brother. It's always nice. Jenna Tallulah. Mama looks. Is this someone new?
I think that's the person he was talking.
Yeah. Jenna Tallulah. Okay. I forgot to mention Alex. I can't even pronounce. How do you pronounce that word? Amish beard. Okay. Jebediah. Sorry, I had to. It's because you don't have the bit. You don't have the mustache bit, right?
Mm-mm.
You say that. Is there a reason for that? You can't grow it, or It's a choice.
I shaved it off.
Okay.
I just keep this only.
I'm meticulous with my beard regime. I always shave the throat out. Always shave that out, and then this is all groomed every Saturday morning. I get up and I think this is like a grade 4, 5 snipped, 4, 2, completely wet shaved. That's my thing. I've never changed it. Sometimes I go a bit shorter occasionally, but yeah, I'm quite meticulous. I'm quite vain, so I feel sorry for my wife.
I just have my barber do it, so.
Oh, I'm too poor for that. I have 2 kids, so they take all my money. They take. I just have money for. I think important things, rum, and I've got a couple up here, so we'll get rum in.
That's your set for Monday.
You know what? If I make the playoffs in the in our little league, I think me and Marty should definitely wind up the old man about because he mocked us during that draft about me and him drinking, and Johnny was like, oh yeah, we're gonna absolutely cream these guys because they're drinking, they're gonna make really shit picks, and both me and Marty are in the playoffs at the moment, so sitting pretty while we're drinking, so it's not too bad.
The fancy football.
Yeah. We I think I'm 4th. I think Johnny's 1st. I think, but we're all on the same record. Everyone's on the same record. It's all to do with like strengths, wins, and shit. So let's go for the. I knew you would love it, Jen. Oh my gosh, it's getting really flush in here. Rick Alec has a new Amish porn out called "You Need." Oh, for fuck's sake! Oh, he's good at writing stuff though. I give Jason Swade is a good writer. This stuff he's very good with it. Alex 2005 look with his beard. I love flossing my teeth with his chin hair. Oh, that made me feel a little sick. Alex, but Alex looks like a tall Pinocchio. He can Pinocchio my hole anytime. Wow, there you go. You have a bit of fan club.
It's because Alex. It's because Alex isn't here.
All right, so Alex usually gets the love.
Yeah. He's a little under the weather right now, so.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a cold, but I just rummed that out. Medicinal. They got to give you rum in the Navy, right?
I mean, we're allowed to drink, but I don't drink that.
No. But back in the day, they have that daily. There was like a daily allowance. They called it your tot, and they would just give you like a small measure of alcohol. That was your like morning pick me up. That was the old school like Navy. It's like, and it usually was either rum. And then some other navies, like the French Navy, I think and this is going back a long time ago, but it's kind of traditional. Would use like cognac or whiskey, things like that. Like if you're Scottish, probably use Scotch. So I just wondered if they still did that. You don't get to wake up with a morning pick me up of a little shot of rum to get you going. It's all performance based now, isn't it? You're practically athletes.
No, it's just like the same routine, so I have to get used to it.
Absolutely. So I'm going to finish off the show because I'm going to be popping into Buck Wild. And dude, if you want to bump into Buck Wild, you're more than welcome. I'll send you pop out the link in a bit. So it's been real. I just want to ask you a question though. I always have a thing when I ask my guests is instead of just saying what's your prediction, I always go with this way. And it's you wake up the next day after the game and you open up the newspaper or you open up your phone and you go you get those pop-ups to like tell you like what's been happening in world news and what have you. And you get the sports section and it's Tampa Bay. What do you want the headline to be? Alex's headline.
Dang.
Don't overthink it. Just let your heart have it.
Bucks get on track with a win against the Saints.
That would do. So for me, I've got. I always try and put mine to a pun. So, Aints, Saints, Taints. It don't matter. We dat.
Even though, just don't check the run your pool on Sunday because I definitely picked the Saints.
Why is it with Buccaneers fans picking against your team? I've already said to.
I'm using Johnny's logic and see if it works.
Johnny's logic is completely flawed because his first game he picked the Buccaneers to lose and they won. Then he picked them to win and they lost. So he just needs to just not pick anything to do with the Buc. He should flip a coin instead and just be done with it. Because he tries to explain it and it's like, dude, every time you pick something, it doesn't work. I think it's only worked like 3 times out of how many losses we got? So it's worked 50% of the time. So you should just leave it. I think he's just trying to dig him out of a hole and saying he's not a bad Buccaneers fan.
Every time I picked the Bucs, it didn't work in my favor. So
my logic is I pick the Bucs regardless, and I get what I get.
Like I picked the Patriots on Thursday. Worst decision.
Yes, I saw. I looked at the most recent standings. So, but don't worry, you'll catch up soon. The thing is, you didn't start playing until late, didn't you?
Yeah, I played like week 4-ish.
Yeah.
Week 5.
You're behind by a lot of picks, unfortunately. That's a shame, though. I reckon you'd be doing all right.
Huh?
I reckon you'd be doing fine if you would have been playing from day one.
Yeah, but Navy.
It is what it is. But you won last week, right? I don't know if I've ever won a week. I just want to see where me and Johnny at so I can wind him up.
I told Johnny, I was like, the funny part is like the total points thing. I put the same points every week. It's always 40. It's every time. It's like it never changes. I put 40 every time. I guess that's a week it actually worked. So I was like, oh well.
Yeah, it was a good week for a lot of people last week. There's a lot of predictions that went well. So I can never get the score right. I don't even know where to start with that. It's not my thing. But I've never done picking before, so I'm quite enjoying it.
Yeah, I just guess what the score is and I just add it. But mostly I've been playing 40 every time.
Yeah, I've been going 50s. I think that's my problem. Yeah, I keep overdoing it. I've never gone under. I just keep thinking that we're gonna. Yeah.
First
Okay,
down.
Alex. Tell us where we can catch you. What you're doing. I know you do some things on Ben with Ben and his show. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I join. I'm usually on Thursdays with Johnny, Ben, Alex.
NFL edition, right?
Yeah. That's an occasion if I'm available to, and then probably every other. I mean, with my schedule is now. I mean, yeah, like every other Friday I'm on the Ben Cornette show on Friday. So like, maybe every week, depending on like how I feel after work, because I work every other weekend.
Right.
Even when so I'll be leaving to Michigan, so I won't be on the show for like that whole 2 weeks that I'm gone. But that's about it.
Okay, man. No worries, but it's always a pleasure watching you, and thank you for coming on. And if you want to join us on Book Wild in a bit, more than welcome to. And then I'll be doing the pre-game show, so if you'll be more than welcome to jump on that too. And then we got the aftermath where everyone gets a little bit more restless, and if it's a loss, there'll be a lot because the last one was just F F F F F F.
Is the pregame show Monday, right?
Yes, I'm not sure the time yet because it hasn't been ironed out, but it will probably. Every time I think of a time, I'm not stupid. I've just got to convert my time into your time. It takes me a hot minute.
No problem.
But it's 11 o'clock for me, which I think is about 5 p.m. for you guys. So it might be 5:30.
Right now?
No, 6:30. 6:30.
Right now?
No. For the pre-game show on Monday, it'll be 6:30.
I was like, it's definitely like 8 o'clock over here.
Yeah. For sure.
By the way, Alex, if you're watching, touchdown Michigan.
There you go. I'm sure he'd be happy with that. What's the score on that one?
Oh, it just started. Michigan scored first 7-0.
A lot of losses the teams that are in the playoff really shouldn't have been pipping right now.
I just hope Bama doesn't make it. All these Bama fans think they're going to go to the playoffs.
I mean, there's an argument for it.
I mean, there's not really an argument. They've lost two SEC opponents. TCU went undefeated and beat ranked teams left and right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I think TCU should definitely be there 100%. I'm a big TCU fan.
Even though I talk smack about them saying they beat backup quarterbacks, they went undefeated. And they
went undefeated and then beat ranked opponents. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how good the quarterback is. They're a ranked team, and if you beat a ranked team, you have that kudos.
And then they almost beat Kansas State, except for they kept running the damn ball at the fucking 1 yard line, which made no damn sense. But Bama, you're not going to the playoffs. I hope y'all know that. Even if you do, you got to face Georgia. And we all know how that's going to end up.
No, in
54.
recent years, it's been flipping to Georgia's way. It always used to be that Alabama used to pip them all the time, and they just couldn't seem to get it going. And it seems like they finally got over that jump. But that's a mental barrier. The team's got to come over those mental barriers. It's like us with the Saints. Now we got one.
I'll be completely honest.
We can do it.
If you see Georgia and Alabama in the playoffs, Georgia's going to win 54-13.
Wow, that's a bold statement from
Alabama can't hang with a JV squad. They're overhyped. I don't care what anybody says. They lost to LSU. They lost all these games that they should. They lost 2 important key games.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee. Now look what happened to Tennessee. Everybody else can beat them, even before Hendon Hooker went out, but they couldn't. And then you lose to LSU, who last time I checked got lost to by 20 to Georgia today. So I'd rather not see that. I'd rather see Ohio State versus Georgia, even though it's probably not going to be a better matchup. But I see Bama fans all day saying, "Oh, if we do this, we do that, we do this." I'm like, just stop. It's season's done. You're probably gonna play for a Sugar Bowl or something. Just hang it up.
Just take your New Year's Six Bowl and play it and be done with it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's Alabama fans. They can't handle not being in the playoffs.
Well,
They're the college football golden boys.
It happens. All right, brother. I'll let you get out here, and I'll maybe see you later. If not, no worries. We'll speak soon. Look after yourself, brother.
All right, see you, Slick. Thank you.
Yeah, man. No worries, man. That was Alex Schomburg. You can catch him on Ben's show. I believe it's called. I think he's got a page called Ben Zone. I don't know if the show's called Ben Zone. So Ben Cornett, if you do hear me pronouncing it wrong or not saying your show right, please let me know because I'd rather pump it right. But his page is called Ben Zone, and he does a lot of content from that page. They both also do NFL Edition on occasion. Both of them are in and out of that. So check those guys out every Thursday. I'm not sure if it's 9:30 or 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. because they've changed their times a couple of times. Changed their timings a couple of times. But however, guys, we got a must-win one. I'll catch you guys if you want to carry on watching on Book Wild with me and Teresa. We'll get down into a bit more of the nitty-gritty on this. Chris Cole, hi there, brother, and hopefully I'll see you on that show too. It's been real. It's been fun. I'm going to get myself a drink and a cocktail, and I'm going to go and chill out just before the show, and then I will see you guys next. I'll see you in an hour. But if you're only tuning into this show, I'll see you next week. We got the pre-game show coming up, and then we got the aftermath, which will be on the Tuesday. We'll go and get raw on that, dependent on what happens with this Buccaneers football team. But Bucks on me, Bucks on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucks!